Hey guys, welcome to the Firearm Patriot channel. I'm Russ, and today I'm going to be taking a look at an inside the waistband holster for $17.91 gun leather and also one of their gun belts. Now this particular model of leather holster is called the Rigid Concealment Holster, and it's an excellent quality, and at $44 I think it represents a good value. Now I know that kydex is all the rage in holsters and they do have their benefits, but I don't think you should overlook the leather holster. And so let's go over here to the table and take a little bit closer look at these two products. Okay guys, we're going to take a little bit closer look at this Rigid Concealment holster from $17.91 gun leather as well as their gun belt. Now the reason I'm using this Guardian Nation mat and have this Guardian Nation shirt on is that's how I found out about this company. I received one of the Guardian Nation's gear boxes, and there was a coupon in it for one of their holsters. So I went ahead, I'm a fan of leather holsters right off the bat, let me tell you that. I think they're classic and they look good. So I ordered one for my P365 in a kind of a mahogany color. Now it was a different holster, wasn't this exact holster, but I really liked it. I liked the quality of it. I thought it was well made. So I contacted the company and asked them to go ahead and send me a different holster for the Shield. Now, you know, they have holsters for all different guns, so don't think just because we're using a Shield today, that only make holsters to fit the Shield. That's not true. But I've been very impressed with them, but Guardian Nation is how I found out about them. So I'm going to put a link to the Guardian Nation website in the description of this video, as well as a link to $17.91 gun leather in the description of the video, so you can go check out their products. And again, extremely well made products. So let's go ahead and take a look at the holster. That gun safety check, by the way, this holster runs $44, which is about what you could get any kydex holster for. Of course, some kydex holsters cost more, and I can tell you there's a lot more labor to make this leather holster than there is that goes into a kydex holster. But I've been carrying leather holsters for a long time. When I first started carrying concealed, I had a leather holster very similar to this with a snub nose revolver back in 1991. Just kind of gives you an idea a little bit how old I am, but I have been in the concealed carry business for a long time. But there's some advantages that leather holsters have over kydex holsters. Now don't get me wrong, I don't hate kydex holsters and use them pretty frequently, but you know, there are some differences, and some very, in my opinion, significant differences. First of all, I think the look is much better on a leather holster. I mean, it just looks more professional, more quality, and particularly it's just a beautiful product. You know, kydex is plastic, it is what it is, and it just doesn't have the look. It also doesn't have the smell either. You're not going to pick up a kydex holster and go, wow, that smells really good. Now on this particular product, I understand they use 100% steer cowhide, and on this particular holster, they've roughed out the bottom and finished out the top, which I think is a very good looking, makes it just a very good looking holster. You can see there they put their print $17.91 on the holster. It's also on the belt clip. Now these belt clips are going to fit, I believe, 1.5 inches. Very secure, they're not going to come off, and I found the holster to be very comfortable. I've been carrying it now for a couple months, and the Shield, you know, is a, you know, a very good concealed carry gun, even though it's not my primary gun. This is actually my wife's gun. It's a little bit tricked out. But what I like about leather holsters is that they're very pliable. And what that means is that they give a little bit. So if you put this holster down in your waist, it's going to move a little bit. It kind of takes the shape of your body just a tad, more so than what a kydex holster will. And so from that standpoint, I think it's more comfortable. They are a little bit heavier. This is going to weigh in at 5.1 ounces, but that's not really that significant if you're wearing a good belt and you've got a good holster, and you're wearing you know, basically you have a light gun like the Shield. Another thing I like about leather, and I think it's a tactical advantage over kydex, is how quiet it is. When you pull a gun from a kydex holster, it makes a very loud, distinct noise. Anybody in that room that's familiar with firearms and kydex holsters, they're going to generally know what that is. In a A leather holster, it's much quieter. It's a much quieter holster, much quieter draw. And so I think that's a tactical advantage, particularly if you don't want somebody to see you draw the gun, depending on what your situation might be. So, you know, I like leather holsters from that, and just the fact that they're good quality. I mean, this holster is stitched very well. You can see how well, you know, it's double stitched around here to hold very tight. Leave together the holster, because this is kind of a one-piece holster that comes around and sewn up, and then this portion, finished portion, is also sewn onto the top. And you do have a good sweat shield here for the shield. They also send you instructions on how to break these holsters in, and you can, you know, get the retention that you want by breaking them in. You don't have to just say this is how the retention is and there's not anything I can do about it. Like on some kydex holsters, I've had some kydex holsters that the retention's been really good or really bad, but if it's bad, they're difficult to adjust sometimes. So with this leather holster, you know, it is going to be for this gun just like a kydex holster would be, but for $44, I think it represents an excellent value. One of the most highest quality holsters, leather holsters out there that I've seen. Now they also make kydex holsters. I've not reviewed one of those yet, but I will, hopefully. And also they make carbon fiber holsters. So that should be interesting as well. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the belt. Lay this shield over here. Now, their belt comes in two colors. This is stealth black, and they also come in traditional brown, and they also have, again, 1791 stamped right there. I think that's very cool. Of course, that's the year the Bill of Rights were ratified. And these are lifetime guaranteed belts for $60. I mean, you think about it, you're getting a belt that is guaranteed for your lifetime. That's incredible. And they're guaranteed not to stretch, not to break, you know, not to roll over. And if they start doing those things, you can send them back in. They're going to send you a new belt. That right there is worth a lot of money in my opinion. And they have a traditional row buckle on there. Some people like those, some don't. I'm not really the biggest fan from a style standpoint. Of course, the purpose of them is to make sure they don't damage the belt as you're putting it on, because regular belts, buckles can damage the face of the belt, make them start not looking good. But if you don't like that, you can always take these two Chicago screws out, which is very good that it has that in there, and replace the buckle. But if you're going to do that, make sure you replace it with a good quality buckle, because you are going to be using it to carry a gun. You also have a keeper here. You could replace that if you didn't like it. I don't really see any need to. I do think the belt's pretty stylish. The one thing that I've been extremely impressed about with this belt is how pliable it is. It's very elastic when it goes around your waist. I mean, you can roll this thing up. Most gun belts that you see that are this thick, you are not going to be able to do that. That was very simple for me to do. You're not going to find that in other belts that are that thick, I don't believe. So it's still rigid. It's got to be rigid. It can't, you know, move much this way, because it's going to hold your gun up, and that's the problem with dress belts and standard belts, is that they'll just roll over and not hold the weight of the gun. Not an issue with this product. So for $59.99 with a lifetime guarantee, certainly it's worth the consideration. And again, it's a very attractive, stylish belt. So hope you've enjoyed the review. If you have, please like, share, and subscribe for more reviews like this. And with that being said, this is the Firearm Patriot. Till next time, God bless America.